Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Bulls REKAP Podcast. I'm Joe Colley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can read me in the Sun-Times. You can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at @JColleyHoops. Follow at your own risk. But if you're following right now, you're following a guy who's covering a really good basketball team in the Eastern Conference. Obviously the loss in New York over the weekend was what it was. New York shot the lights out from three. But to come back and play that game against Philadelphia, who was the next on the list of challenges so far for this Bulls team, Detroit, check that box. Orlando, check that box. The Knicks, they've split with. So you can still check that box. They got a good feel of what New York is. And Atlanta, check that box. And Philadelphia was the other big dog so far, flexing its muscle in the East. Obviously, the game was at the United Center. Come back from 24, whatever it was, down 18 at the start of the quarter. I mean, as impressive a win as I've seen this Bulls team do. I mean, they've had some crazy comebacks under Billy Donovan, but this was impressive because they looked so dead. 45 points allowed in the first quarter. We're not here to break down that game. That game is what it is. It's a standalone. Cap does the game post review every night. So he did a good job of summing it all up and the good, the bad, and the ugly out of it. Today's topic is going to be AK, Arturas Karnisovas, the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations. I've killed him on this podcast. I've killed him in the newspaper for the last couple of years. I don't think he's done a very good job. So we're going to break down actually right now how much credit he should get for this start. Kind of the good, the bad, the ugly, give him a final grade. Obviously, we are in sample size territory. This is all just scratching the surface of 82 games. This is a blip on the map. So I'm going to go good first because I am Mr. Positive. So let's go good first. Number one thing, there's been a lot of criticism of Billy Donovan from this city of Chicago. The one guy I've always stood behind is they've got the right coach in Billy Donovan. I don't think Billy Donovan is a top 3, top 4 elite coach, but he's right at the top of that next tier. And that's pretty damn good for an organization that was warned by Carlisle years and years and years ago, whether Carlisle wants to deny it or not deny it, that this is a terrible place to coach and nobody should want to coach here because of whether it was the old regime of Gar Pax or just the way ownership has always treated coaches / managers when you talk about baseball. They're always third on the totem pole on the pecking order. It's always going to be ownership, front office, coaching / manager, no matter how damn good they are or what hardware they bring in for your team. Tibbs, Ozzie Guillen, you go right down the list. It's always been a place where the coach, Phil Jackson, as good as he is always going to be third in that pecking order. So the fact that Arturas has not only found his coach immediately in Billy Donovan, but come in and kind of change the culture where coaches can now look at this place and say, maybe things have changed. I mean, we don't know if they've changed, but maybe they've changed. So that's an interesting aspect of all of this. I've always said Billy Donovan is the right guy for this job. I believe it, and I think he's proven it. The fact that he's come in and just coached the product he had is great coaching. I mean, first of all, he had the kind of the mid-range slow-down game of DeMar DeRozan, and then he had Zach LaVine in transition, and the Lonzo Ball was the battery that had it all go. He knew when to push with Zach, and he knew when the game needed to be slowed down with DeMar. So that was outstanding. And then obviously with Lonzo injury, threw a lot of it off the tracks. Billy then flipped the script and said, okay, we've traded DeMar. We still have Zach, but we're going to go quick. The high pace, kind of what he did growing up under Pitino in that coaching tree at Kentucky. It's just kind of press, go, and just try and run you out of the gym. Make sure your hands are on your knees by the fourth quarter. To do that in one off season, have the guys in condition to do that is pretty. That says a lot about Billy. Probably should have gotten more notoriety for Coach of the Year, but obviously where they finished wasn't going to happen. This year, the piece they added was the defensive piece. to go in there and say, okay, we're going to play at this high pace, but we're also going to be a physical team. So that's what kind of the extent of conditioning I'm asking for you, is to not only play that high pace on offense, which their pace is down from last year slightly, but their defense is also better. So to ask all of that of your team and to get it done that quickly, I mean, that's a hell of a coaching job. So for AK to stick with Billy, extend him twice, when there hasn't been a lot of results. There's been one playoff game win, one playoff appearance, one playoff game win. There's been a lot of getting out coached by Spoelstra in the play-in. But he believes in this guy, so I give him credit for standing by him and not searching and not looking and going, it must be the coach's fault. He's never put the blame on Billy. That's outstanding. The Giddey trade. Look, the Giddey trade, people want to, who won the Giddey trade? Who won the Giddey trade? You know, at the end of the day, Alex Caruso was holding the Davey O'Brien trophy last year, a championship trophy. So in the end game, Oklahoma City has won the Giddey trade. But here's the nice thing about basketball trades that people have to start embracing. Sometimes it's a win-win. Sometimes both teams get out of it what they want. This was a great basketball trade, a win-win basketball trade. A credit to both teams because they both benefited from it. If you want to look at Caruso's stats and go, oh, look at what Giddey's doing compared to Caruso, then you're an idiot, because there's not one Bulls fan that wouldn't trade a one-year championship for a future guy that's going to be really good and flirt with triple doubles for the next 5 years and have uncertainty if he's going to hold up that trophy. No one knows if Josh Giddey's ever going to win a championship. Alex Caruso did it. He won a championship. His second one, by the way. So the Giddey trade, there's no winners. But the fact that Giddey is on an all-star trajectory right now, 23 points and change, 10 rebounds, 9.1 assists, playing better defense, and that Arturas not only traded for him, but then in his walk contract year, played hardball with him this offseason. Didn't cater to him for the first time, did not cater to a player, give him the contract he wanted, and then, hell, here's a player option where you get to pick how long you stay and how much that last year is for, which he's been handing out player options left and right. So I give him credit for that trade, give him credit for how he's handled Josh Giddey contract-wise. That's a plus. Two things in his favor. The Lonzo Ball trade, I thought was a great trade. Look, Isaac Okoro, it hasn't shown yet when you just look at the numbers, but it's more about the numbers. It's about a feel that he brings, an identity he brings on the defensive end. If I'm going to bust my ass and take charges and play physical basketball, you better be busting your ass and doing the same thing. And that's what he brings to the Bulls. They had no one like that since Caruso left. And even when Caruso was there, instead of following Caruso, they'd be like, Caruso would do it. That's fine. I'm just going to worry about my offense because Caruso handled the dirty work. So kudos to that trade. And Ball hasn't been awful in Cleveland. I think he's leading them in assists. They're kind of going through the motions, I would say, when I watch them early part of the year, kind of easing into the season. I think they're 4-3 to start at the time we're taping this. So not awful, but he's not there for the regular season. He is there to be the adult on the floor in the fourth quarter of playoff games where they failed last year in the second round. So I think both teams got what they wanted out of that. And again, it could be a win-win trade. So credit for AK for loosening up, signing Ball to that contract last year at the trade deadline that a lot of people had the red ass for. And like, why are you extending this guy? They extended him because it was certainty to trade to another team. It was contract certainty where a team could say, oh, we got him for X years at a really good deal. Let's do this. So, so applaud AK for that. Finally loosening up and saying, hey, let's make a solid basketball move here. Another one. The Zach LaVine trade. I don't like that it took this long. I don't like that they felt they had to max Zach LaVine because the rest of the league was maxing guys that put up those kind of stats. But that's what you did. You drank that poison. You had to sit and wait. When it was time to finally strike last February, think about it like this. They got Trey Jones, who they've extended and has been phenomenal as far as just a throwback, old-school point guard. Josh Giddey gets the big, fluffy numbers. Trey Jones is the heartbeat of that offense when the transition isn't there and you have to be at a half-court set and you need an old-school adult to say, I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to back the ball out. We're going to get a nice set, and we're going to get a nice shot off. We're going to run a good play here. He's outstanding at that. Zach Collins, obviously, left wrist surgery. He'll be back maybe about a month. We'll see. They're going to reevaluate in a couple of weeks, and we'll see where he's at. But he'll add some good depth and take Jalen Smith out of the rotation. Jalen Smith has struggled at times. He's had a couple of good moments, but too many bad moments than good moments. Kevin Huerter's the sneaky guy in all of this. I love Kevin Huerter. He is a plus. And when it comes to plus-minus guys, his plus is ridiculous. And that was going back to last year. As a starter, that group operated in a plus with him when he was a starter. And then also this year, I think he's plus 27, I want to say, total, leading the team, I believe. He's an underrated athlete. He had a nice block, but he brings an attitude to the team. He's got the smirk. He's kind of snarky. He's very Cobra Kai. You want to hit him if you're watching him in a movie and you're friends with Daniel LaRussa. But if you're Cobra Kai, you love that dude. And Huerter, to me, is the poster boy for Cobra Kai. Love his game. Love his attitude. And I think it's time to talk Kevin Huerter extension. I think you could do it at a relatively good price. I think he likes playing here because he knows what his role is. He knows the importance here. He's been around a little bit, Atlanta, Sacramento. He knows what it's like when you're not coveted in an organization and your playing time goes. So I think that's a guy that they can look and talk to as far as extending. And finally, the last thing I like that AK has done, and it's almost not his fault. It's almost the rest of the league has put him into the spot, but he's could have traded Vooch a couple times. But his asking price was so high for Vooch that teams didn't want to do it. And it's really worked out to the benefit of this team. These guys love playing with Vooch. Forget the fact that Vooch has been going back to last year and into this year, playing the best basketball probably of his career as a stretch five and shooting the basketball. He's doing the same stuff he did 3 years ago when he struggled or when he first got here to Chicago. So nothing's changed. But the thing I like about the Vooch situation is by the league not buying into his high asking price, he hasn't just given him away. And they're benefiting from that. And I'm going to say this. Vooch is an expiring contract. Vooch wants to play for a winner. Why not look to extend Vooch 1 or 2 more years here? His family loves Chicago. I'm sure he would love the security of he's not going to get a long-term deal. So why not do it here where he knows he's still a starter, he still has value, he's still, 35 is a little scary, but I think he's a guy that could transition into a bench player if they find the right piece in front of him, whether that's through the draft or free agency, because you got 6 or 7 guys that are expiring contracts this year. So I think I would not be upset at all if come February they do what they did with Lonzo and announce an extension for Vooch, whether it's 1 year with an option. It'd be nice if it's a team option, but extend him. And I'm not against that. I don't give a damn about what the fans feel about Vooch. The fans have been so stupid about Vooch that it's not worth even getting into. We've had Vooch on the podcast. We've had some fans on the podcast that don't like Vooch, and that got into a big debate. You know who you are. But people don't understand his importance, and it's on the floor, but it's also in the locker room. This is a guy that could be the veteran, could beat his chest and say, I'm the leader, but he'd rather be in a committee of leaders. And I think that bodes well for the makeup of this team. So all those are the good for AK. I credit him with that. But here's things you can't forgive about AK. And the reason I think, they're playing good basketball now, but we're in the year 6 of this thing. And you've gotten to the playoff 1 time, bro. So the Patrick Williams draft and extension, look, Patrick's playing better this year. I would hope so. He's not, I don't want to hear about his age anymore. The dude's been around. He's a tenured Bulls player that's been here for years and years. I think this is year 6 of the P. Will thing. He's had some bad luck with injuries, but other guys have. You look at this rookie class, these dudes are flashing immediately right now. VJ Edgecombe, Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, who I've always been on the Con Knipple bandwagon. If you guys follow this podcast, I mean, these dudes, don't tell me that rookies need time and stuff like that. This was a P. Will problem. And then to extend him 5 years, $90 million because you thought that was the market price, shame on you. You fell in love with your own product, you smoked your own product, and you can't get off smoking your own product. So, he's here now. His role is a bench guy, but he was a number 4 overall pick, and he's just your bench guy. Crime. The draft in general, okay? Modest could be a huge hit. Io in the second round, steal. But after that, what have you done? Dalen, still don't know what he is because of just the lack of playing time. I think there's something there with Dalen, but we don't know. And you've got to make a decision on Dalen. I mean, it's rookie contract's up after this year. Julian Phillips, something there? Don't know. We already talked about P. Will. Noah Senge, you drafted a project at number 12. And if you look at the top 11 guys in front of him, and the guy, I think Queen was behind him. Was it Queen that went right behind him? Queen played hero yesterday in New Orleans win. A lot of those guys are contributing and playing good basketball. I mentioned a few. You drafted a guy that basically is in a redshirt year, and you thought that's a good idea. Hey, we feel really good about our team. We finished 15-5. We have 6 expiring contracts, so we probably got to have a young guy ready to go. Let's draft a guy that's going to play in the G League for us. So, again, the draft overall has not been good. He is not some kind of draft maven that's stealing players left and right wherever he goes. I still think he didn't get off that first rebuild quick enough, whether it was waiting to trade DeMar as long as he did, waiting to trade Zach as long as he did, extending Vooch. And I love Vooch. We just talked about Vooch. Whatever it was, Lonzo, and I mean, there was a patience with Lonzo that they had to have. I get it. But he just stayed with that team for so long. And then when he did move guys, he didn't get the most value that he could have gotten for them. Okay? I just think he fell in love with that start of that 21-22 season and thought he could recapture it. And businesses, big-time businesses, this is a billion-dollar business. The Chicago Bulls are a billion-dollar business. Billion-dollar businesses, Apple, Amazon, when there's a bad idea, they get off of it. Get off of it. If it's not there, get off of it. So hopefully he learned that lesson. We'll see. Free agency. Free agency has not been good for him. Right now, the heart of this team is built through trade, through some of the trades he's made, and we've talked about those. But the free agency, he ran out. Remember, at the bell, they ran out and got Javon Carter. That was their big must-have piece. Javon Carter is like the 15th guy on the roster. And to his credit, has been a professional the entire time. He's getting paid $7 million to be professional each year. But, I'd like to be professional like that for $7 million a year. But and then Jalen Smith the year after. I had to run out and get Jalen Smith. Big stretch. And I think they were thinking, this is a guy that's going to replace Vooch. So it has not been good in free agency. Not at all. And then the last piece of this, you have something now sustainable. You have Modest up and coming. You have Josh Giddey playing right now like the Josh Giddey of the second half and like an all-star. You look at his numbers, those are all-star numbers. 23, 10, and 9 is an all-star number. Can you build the right pieces around it? Do I trust you enough to know the league, know the other executives, which I think he's gotten a little bit better at. According to other executives, he's loosened up in that department. We've talked about that before. First 4 years were rough. He was hard to deal with, not transparent, tough to deal with. He's gotten better in that department. So good. On-the-job training, you're learning on the fly. I credit you for that. So can you find the right pieces to build around this? Like I said, 6 guys are walking after this year. Can you make the right moves and take advantage of this thing and keep it going, moving it forward, and adding the right pieces? That remains to be seen because he hasn't shown it. He tried it and it didn't work, and he just held on to it like a teddy bear and the bear was dead. It was out of stuffing. It was ripped up, and he wouldn't let it go, and we know what happened. So, but we're here now. So what do I give him? What is his grade right now as of November 5th when we're taping this? What do I give Arturas for everything in whole? I give him a C, C minus. We're in there. We're leaning towards C, but C minus. I feel good about it. It's been a lot of just banging your head on the wall to get to this point. And now if this point turns into something, then maybe it's worth the journey, but it's got to turn into something really special because you came in and your opening press conference, you promised to get the Bulls back to being a championship team. You have not delivered 6 years in. So C, C minus, I feel good about that. We'll revisit this topic later in the year, and maybe that grade changes, maybe it doesn't, but that's where I'm at right now. Look, the Bulls are playing great basketball. This team was built by, whether it's accident or purpose, by AK, but it's taken way too long to get to this point where fans can feel really good about their team. So that's it. That's the good, the bad, and then obviously the grade. Call it the ugly. C, C minus, leaning towards a C minus a little bit more, but we'll see where it goes. So that's it. All right, let's go to Kali Island. Topic's not going to the rant. Not everybody's going to love this topic. I love Kobe White. I do. He's got some Jimmy Butler in him. He works on his weaknesses, doesn't work on his strengths, works on his weaknesses every offseason, has turned himself into a really good basketball player. I just don't know if there's purpose for Kobe White right now. Trey Jones, 5.7 assists per game. I told you how he can operate the offense and slow it down. Josh Giddey, just playing as elite guard as there is in the Eastern Conference right now. There's very few guards playing better basketball than him. Ayo, outstanding off the bench. Ayo is a free agent after this year. Kobe White is a free agent after this year. You really probably can't keep both when you think about it. You got Trey for 3 years when you extended him. You got Giddey for 4 years when you extended him. To me, something's got to give. And I'm going to throw this trade out there yet again because I'm watching Kobe White to Houston, who they're covering up for the loss of Fred VanVleet. They're covering it up. But still, they don't have that pure point guard. Reed Shepherd, Tari Eason. Reed Shepherd right now, 9.5 points per game. Obviously, his defense suffers. He would come off the bench with that second unit. 42% from three-point range. Guy can shoot it. I think would fit really well with that second unit. And who knows, eventually maybe he joins that first unit. Who knows? Eason, 11.7 points per game, shooting 57% from three on nights that Isaac Okoro doesn't have it. I'm all in on Tari Eason, okay? I think it just makes your bench that much deeper. You don't have to worry then about decisions on, do we play Julian tonight? Do we play Dalen? They won't even come into play here if you get these two guys. My concern is when Kobe gets back, how much will things change? And how there's going to be a change when Kobe White gets back. Make no mistake about it. Very few times when a guy's injured and the team is doing well, is it just a seamless, he's here, we're just going to keep going. I'm fine with my minutes being cut now. I'm fine. If I'm Trey Jones, I'm fine with going back to the bench. And he will because he's a professional. But numbers are going to go down for certain guys. Minutes and playing time and the rhythm of what they're in is going to change. It might be a game or two. And then they're just like, hey, 15-5 with Kobe last year. We're picking up everyone. If I'm AK, I'm exploring every option to move Kobe White so that I can focus on Kevin Huerter, Ayo, and possibly a Vooch extension for 1 or 2 more years. I just am. Sorry, I just am. And I think Kobe, wherever he goes, can be great. That's not the knock here. The knock is on what makes the most sense. The way Ayo is playing with that second unit, the pace, the defense, because I think he can be an elite two-way player. I can't walk away from him, and I just don't know how you can afford all these guys. If you Trey Jones, Giddey, Ayo, and then what's the price on Kobe? If I already know Kobe wanted 30, I'd be like, okay, 25 to 30, Josh Giddey type contract, maybe a little bit more. Okay, But if the feel, which they already know what the feel is because the two sides have talked, if the feel is 35-40 and he comes back and he's putting up 23 a game, which Kobe can do easily, what are we doing here then? So, yeah, let him come back. Hopefully he plays at a high level. But then to me, you're making calls. And if you're not, shame on you, AK. All right, let's get to the list. The 26th draft class talked about this numerous times. Well, guess what? Some of these guys have started showcasing their skills. First week of college basketball, and we have some film, some data, some numbers, and say, hey, who's done what? Number 5 on the list, Mikel Brown, Louisville. First game was okay. I mean, he's a bigger guard, 11 points, 6 assists, solid. Number 4 on that list, Nate Ament, Tennessee, 6'10 forward. He played like a forward. He played like a versatile forward. 18 points, 9 rebounds. I think he hit 3 threes. So, or he hit a 3. He hit 1 3. Sorry. But big guy, forward, athletic, looked the part. Number 3, Cameron Boozer. Anyone who watched the Duke game the other day? Slow start, first half, second half. And they're playing Texas. This wasn't like they were playing, Sisters of the Broke next door. So they're playing against Texas, 15 points, 13 rebounds. He looks like the number 3 player in the draft class. Number 2, I have him at number 2. The draft mocks have him at number 2, but boy, did he look good. AJ DeBonsa from BYU. They beat Villanova. We're not talking about elite Villanova team, but it's still Villanova. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and he looked like a dude. I can see why the Mormons all got together, put all their loose change together, and gave him a lot of NIL money to come there because he looks special. He looks like a top pick. But the guy that sits in that top pick as of right now, we'll see if it changes, Darren Peterson from Kansas. They're saying he's very Kobe-like, and damn, he looked the part. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, had a block, 3 of 7 from three-point range. He looks like a man playing amongst boys. And Kansas has a good team. They're going to be interesting. But, yeah, so those are the 5 that stood out. Some of these dudes are going to be special, and we'll continue watching them. We'll revisit this list again later on this year. Obviously, people know that I love my prospects and mock drafts, so we'll be revisiting that later on in the year. So that's it. Like I said, hopefully we got some good guests coming up. The Bulls will be going on the West Coast in a couple weeks. That's always a fun time to grab guys. We'll see, but until then, I've got next.